Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to the FCS Football channel. And we've got the match preview for the Manchester United versus Galatasaray match. Of course, it is tomorrow, so we'll have a watch along, as we always do. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock, so we will be live at about 7:30 for that. Obviously, Galatasaray in their game, they drew Copenhagen in the first leg. Well, in the first round of the group stage, which leaves them third, level on points with Copenhagen, of course, who they played, while Manchester United are bottom, having lost to Bayern Munich in our first game 4-3. It was kind of a whitewash, really, weren't it? Bayern Munich were better than us throughout. The scoreline is a lot nicer on us than in reality it was. It wasn't close, was it? It really wasn't. Now, Manchester United, form-wise, aren't in a good way whatsoever. As we said in the Champions League, we lost 4-3 in the opening game against Bayern Munich, which, to be fair, how many teams are going to go to the Allianz and beat Bayern Munich? Not many. So in that sense, while it's obviously still disappointing, it's not the end of the world. However, losing 1-0 to Crystal Palace in our last league game, in our last game in general, less ideal. To be honest, it's less ideal. And you really do. I think I've just disconnected, so I don't know where I've disconnected. But as I'll just look, if it skipped it over, well, yes, we lost to Palace, but in spells, I think we were quite good. We conceded what was an unbelievable finish by Anderson, but generally, I thought we were probably the better team throughout. And it's again comes down to decision making, and you could argue mistakes that have cost us this game. On a different day, Marcus Rashford, I mean, is just a better footballer, you'd hope, and we might win that game. But it's a new game, new opportunity to perform. And a performance is what we need. As we see there, we are bottom of the group stage. We need to get that win, put us up to second, because if we win, Bayern Munich will almost certainly beat Copenhagen, who are also playing at the same time as us. So a win against Galatasaray, providing Bayern Munich do what we expect and beat Copenhagen, that will put us second, and that's where we can then stay for the rest of this campaign as we play Copenhagen twice, we play Galatasaray once more. And at that point, we should be through, really. And then regardless of what happens in the Bayern Munich Man United game at Old Trafford, we should be through. So it's an opportunity to go to second in the league, in the group, and stay second in the group. And it's so important that we set that kind of that early marker, that game against Bayern Munich. Yes, it was disappointing, but that's not going to define our campaign. We're a good enough team to go far in this competition, and we're going to prove we are going to do that. It is United versus Galatasaray. You are correct. And look, obviously, as we all know with the Champions League, top two, they go through to the round of 32. Galatasaray and Copenhagen will be fighting for that third and fourth spot. One to go into Europa League, and the other obviously will just be knocked out of Europe entirely. So while Galatasaray probably know Man United will finish above them, they've got to get points on the board, because Copenhagen, they were 2-0 up, Copenhagen against Galatasaray, before they got that red card, which suggests Copenhagen might be better than Galatasaray. I'd be surprised given the players that this Galatasaray team have, but there will be a bit of doubt maybe in that Galatasaray team, thinking, right, if Copenhagen went 2 up against us, maybe that third place spot isn't entirely wrapped up. So coming to Old Trafford, they are going to play defensive. They are going to try and get whatever they can, knowing that the next 2 games is going to be Bayern Munich twice. And what they kind of need to do is get points on the board ASAP. What is your starting 11 tomorrow? Well, we'll go through the team news, and then we'll get to the starting 11s. So in terms of team news, obviously this is about Galatasaray. So they are second in the Turkish Super League. They've got two first team players out in Hakim Ziyech and Karatas. We know about Ziyech, obviously formerly of Ajax and Chelsea. Karatas is a left back. I don't think he would have played over Angelino anyway, but he is out. So Angelino will almost certainly start for Galatasaray. Mauro Icardi and Dries Mertens. Again, you guys know about these players. These are top quality players from European football. Dries Mertens, obviously, how long did he play for both Napoli and the Belgium national team? With Icardi, he's played for PSG, Inter Milan, even Argentina. Very, very good players, these two. And both can score goals. Mertens is a bit more all-round. Icardi is an out-and-out goal scorer. You give him a chance, chances are he will take it. What happened, Tyler, lad? What happened? What happened? When it comes to the team I think they will go with, it is this. So I think it will go with Muslera in goal. I think it's Boyo at right back. Davinson Sanchez, obviously formerly Spurs, I imagine will be in there with Angelino at left back. Sergio Olivier, is it? I can't think of his name. Olivier and Lucas Torreira as the double pivot. Both played a lot of European football. Obviously, we know Torreira, he was at Arsenal, went to Atletico Madrid for a bit. Very good player, Lucas Torreira. And it was only when he went more advanced under Arsenal where performances started to fall at that number, as that kind of box number 8/number 6 alongside Granit Xhaka. He was excellent under Unai Emery. And Olivier, I think that's his name. Every time I say it, it feels wrong, but I think that is his name. Obviously, he played at Roma under Jose Mourinho, I want to say. So again, a good player. And I play Manchester United. I mean, could we do a player like him? Maybe. Maybe, to be honest. Is his name Olivier? Name. Yeah, it is Olivier. Good. So then it's Wilfried Zaha. He will almost certainly start on the left with Hakim Ziyech out. Tete, obviously, was on loan at Leicester last year. He will probably start on the right with Mauro Icardi leading the line. What's your opinion about Rashid's performances this season? Well, when we get to my team, I will say about that, which might give it an insight into one of my picks. So when it comes to Manchester United players being out, we've got a long list. We've got about 9. So Sancho, we know, is suspended. Still hasn't apologised to Eric Ten Hag. Wan-Bissaka, hamstring, Luke Shaw muscle. Lisandro Martinez is undergoing surgery on a foot injury that he picked up against Arsenal. Apparently he's played using painkillers over the last few games where he has played, including the Bayern Munich game. His foot hasn't healed, so he will now be undergoing surgery. So we might be without him for 2 or so months. Malacia, we know, is out. Reguilon is closing back to returning, but not quite there yet. Still got that thigh injury. Now, Donny van der Beek, I'm not sure what's happened because I couldn't find anywhere about his injury, about an injury with Donny van der Beek. But on the Manchester United website, it did say in the team news article they put out before every game, it did say Donny van der Beek would be unavailable. So I don't know what is wrong with Donny van der Beek, but he looks like he will be out. And then we know Ahmad and Kobe Mainoo are both out. Now, I took this guy out and he put his hands on the ball and it wasn't a penalty, 3-1 to them. Dodgy officiating. Sounds like the Premier League. So this is him, I think, Eric Ten Hag will go with. So I believe it was hinted that Altay Baynadir would start in this game. Ten Hag might have even confirmed it in his preference. I can't quite remember. But I think he will start Altay. Dalot, Varane and Amrabat as three of the back four. We kind of know for certain. Dalot has to play as our only available right back. We don't actually have an available left back. Amrabat has played there in the last 2 games, so I imagine he will probably continue there. It's either going to be Victor Lindelof, Johnny Evans or Harry Maguire at that centre-back spot. I think he will go with Victor Lindelof. He's proven over the last couple of years that left-hand side as a backup, it's Victor Lindelof. Casemiro and Mason Mount as the double pivot. These two played great midweek against Palace. Not as well in the league game against Palace, particularly Casemiro. I thought was quite disappointing in that game. I thought Mason Mount personally had a good game, like I think he has most of the time he's played in a United shirt. Garnacho for me, I think he will start on the left with Marcus Rashford on the right. I think Palestri, he's played the last couple of games. I don't think he's been great, to be honest. So I do think you take him out. You put Garnacho in, and Erik ten Hag has proven that he doesn't like to play Garnacho on the right. If he's going to play Garnacho, he's going to be on the left, which means Rashford will have to move up to the right. Rasmus Højlund and Bruno Fernandes will, of course, start. He kicked my leg and it wasn't a foul. Again, dodgy officiating. I would say get VAR involved, but as we saw from the weekend, which I'm not complaining about because I love to see the Liverpool fans first crying and second of all losing. But we know VAR is rubbish. I mean, even against for Man United, VAR let us down. We should have had a penalty against Crystal Palace for that handball and Joel Ward. But this is the team I would play, and this is where I'm going to comment on Marcus Rashford. But before we get there, we'll go through the rest of the team. So, I've started Harry Maguire over Victor Lindelof. I was calling for Maguire to come on against Crystal Palace. I think Victor Lindelof is a far too passive of a ball-playing centre-back. He doesn't look to break lines enough for me. And Harry Maguire is much, much better than that. Varane is a good ball player, not outstanding, not like Alessandro Martinez when it comes to ball playing. Harry Maguire is better, is more like Alessandro Martinez in that ability to play out from the back and break lines. Is he amazing? Is he as good as Alessandro Martinez? Of course not. But I think he is better than Varane. He's better than Lindelof. So I would go with Harry Maguire, especially given I don't see much. There's not. Mauro Icardi isn't that quick. So for the balls in behind, I'm not massively worried. There we go. We're back, I think. Are we back? Yeah, we're back. Do you mean your team's goalkeeper? Having short goalkeepers is always an issue. It bugs me. How can you be 5'5" and be a goalkeeper? Get out. I can't remember what I was saying before it started disconnecting. Now, we'll move to the front line. As you can see, no Marcus Rashford. Now, for me, the problem with Marcus Rashford is... Does the camera want to refocus? Sort this out. 4'5", that's not great. The problem with Marcus Rashford is... Look, on his day, and when he's in full flow, Marcus Rashford is great. Don't get me wrong. But, so was Theo Walcott on his day. For me, Marcus Rashford is a real problem. Because football intelligence-wise, he's not there. And how much can, at his age, is he going to improve in that kind of facet of his game? I think so often when he should pass, he shoots. And so often when he shoots, he should pass. I don't think he can read a game. He runs into blind alleys. And these are the same criticisms we had of him under Ollie. And before Ragnick. You can go back to maybe Mourinho days. These are big issues. And Marcus Rashford still hasn't kind of improved in those areas or improved enough. But the issue is, this team isn't functional. And you can put that towards Marcus Rashford and his inability to do all the things, or his lack of strength in those areas I kind of just put to you all. But the issue is, we as a team aren't good enough consistently to create so many chances in a game where you can afford not to have a Marcus Rashford. Because I show you that team that I would play today. How many of those players do you honestly believe can get the ball and create something out of nothing? Bruno Fernandes, yes. Garnacho, we've seen in moments, but that's usually coming off as a sub, coming on as a substitute. But apart from that, we don't have players that can grab the ball and grab the game by the scuff of the neck and go win it for you. And in a team that can't create consistently good chances, you need players that can do that because they can drag you out of holes, deep holes. And that is why Marcus Rashford continues to start for United. And why Erik ten Hag kind of keeps his trust with him, because he knows, you think back to the amount of times last season, you give Rashford the ball, he can create something. He can beat 3 players and whip it top corner. Think back to Wolves last season. Scores a goal to win us the game. He's a player that you can almost just kind of say, go do something with it. And until we're creating consistently, you need players like that. The Crystal Palace game midweek was a hint that maybe we're getting there. We're getting to a position where we can play without Marcus Rashford and without a player that can kind of create something out of nothing, because we're becoming a better all-round team that can create chances and sustain pressure on oppositions. And I think this game against Galatasaray would be a good opportunity to kind of see that, because I don't think Rashford has been good enough this season. 1 goal, I believe he's already scored this season. I don't think he's been anywhere near his best. I don't think he's been anywhere near good enough, really, to kind of warrant keep starting every game. As I said, against Palace, we played very, very well without him and Bruno Fernandes. Now, I'm not going to for 1 second say we should drop Bruno Fernandes, because we shouldn't. He is our best player. But I would like to see us without Marcus Rashford, see how we get on without him, and see if we can create chances and see how, against the Galatasaray team, which we should be beating, it's a good opportunity to kind of say, look, do we need that kind of game breaker in our team still? Or can we start to build a team that is constantly creating chances for Rasmus Højlund or Martial, whoever is that lone striker? Rashford, Højlund, Bruno, Mount, Amrabat, Casemiro, Dalot, Evans, Varane. It could be that. It could be that. I mean, so Dalot right back, Lindelof left back, Evans, Varane. We saw that in the... Was it Palace game? Did we see that? The first... No. Who did we... Burnley. We saw that at the end of the Burnley game, didn't we? That back 4. We could do that. But for me, I like Mason Mount as one of those 8s. Moving into the advanced 10. I like Mason Mount there. I think he's good there. I know that might be a controversial take, but I do like Mason Mount there. I think he's played well there. And long term, that is definitely his position. So I don't like the idea of short term in moving him to number 10, when long term he is going to be that number 8 for Manchester United. Whether that's alongside Casemiro, Amrabat, or we bring in somebody else. So I would personally stick with what we've got. But I mean, I look at that team and I think that's plenty strong enough to beat Galatasaray, and that has to be the aim for United, to go and beat Galatasaray. And look, if we play like we did in the first game against Palace, we'll beat them. We'll blow them away. We play like we did in the second game, it could be a long one. It really, really could. But look, I do back Manchester United to win this game. I have to be honest. I really do. We are better than Galatasaray. This is a good group of players. And look, whether or not we play this team, or a combination of either or, the goal has to be to dominate Galatasaray, to beat Galatasaray, and put down a marker saying, look, we are going to get second in the group, and the only team that are going to beat us is Bayern Munich, and they're only going to do it once. The only problem is Zaha Lindelof matchup. I don't think Lindelof can handle Zaha. I mean, it depends what Zaha plays. He can play off the left and right. Realistically, look, for me, with Galatasaray, I'm thinking we shouldn't be worried about, in a sense, about what Zaha and Galatasaray can do to us. I'm worrying about what can we do to them. How can we kind of take the game to them, take the precedent in this game. And that should be by putting our best foot forward and playing Lindelof if we believe on the ball. And for us, he's going to take us and make us a better side. I don't think we should be thinking, right, we should play Lindelof because Zaha's playing and what have you. If we've got the ball, we're keeping the ball, we're dominating proceedings. Yes, Zaha might have a counter attack or two, but they won't score every counter attack, will they? And if we let's say they have 2 counter attacks, they're not going to score both. We should be scoring 3. We can win 3-1, and Zaha's scored 1 on the counter attack. That makes sense. If we play our way, we play on the front foot, we dominate the game. Whatever lineup, we should be fine, as we see from Manchester City and Arsenal and so on. Obviously, against some teams, obviously that you kind of have to. So against the better side like Man City, where it's going to be more 50-50, of course that's when you're going to kind of start thinking about, right, Lindelof. Or you look at Arsenal and you go, right, Bukayo Saka's playing on the right. He's direct. He's quick. He's agile. You want someone who can kind of match that, because that's going to be a more 50-50 game. If not, Arsenal probably dominate. Whereas this game, we should be dominating the ball. We should be in their half for the majority of this game. So how often will Lindelof and Zaha really be matching up 1v1? Probably very little, really. When it comes to a prediction, I think United will win the game. I think we will win it fairly comfortably. Look, that might come back to bite me later tomorrow, but I am going to go for a comfortable 3-0 Manchester United win. Rasmus will get on the score sheet, and I don't know why. If Martial comes on, I feel I'm sensing a Martial goal. I might be being silly, but look, that is going to be it from me today. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button below and subscribe if you are new and you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated. And I'll see you all in the next one. Well, subscribe and all that as well. Watch along tomorrow. Details are there. 7:30 start. Kick off at 8. We'll go through the lineups. We'll go through kind of how I expect the game to go. We'll also obviously cover the other games at 8 o'clock tomorrow. So that's going to be like the Real Madrid-Napoli game, Man United, Bayern Munich, Copenhagen, Arsenal and RC Lens. Or Lons. So there's plenty of good games going on as well, alongside the Man United game, which is obviously the main game that we'll cover. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one in a bit.